This is the Crisscross Show. I'm back and I'm actually going to do a special episode today. Today is going to be dedicated to the Lakers Media Day. The NBA is actually around the corner. The Lakers actually play their first preseason game this weekend against the Brooklyn Nets at some point. So I just wanted to hop on here to give you my thoughts on the Lakers Media Day, which was actually earlier today. And I just wanted to hop on and just talk about that. So anyways, enjoy. Okay, so as I've mentioned before, I always start the episodes, regardless of what episode it is, with a jersey talk, and I'm gonna actually bring this bad boy back, mainly because it was Lakers Media Day today. So I am showing you my LeBron number 6 jersey. If you haven't checked the Lakers Media Day pictures and so forth that happened earlier today, I highly recommend you check them out. See how the team's looking. I think they look really good, in my opinion, but, I just want to show off that jersey. Again, I know I showed it off last episode, but I just wanted you to have that and see it again because the season is nearing. Okay, so I'm only going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers today and their media day that happened earlier today during school hours, which was surprising. It was kind of hard to watch during school. I really wasn't able to see much of the press conferences. I was able to see some when I had some free time. But I just wanted to come here and talk about that. I'm not going to talk about my football talk. I know I missed out on this week's episode, and I have a lot to talk about with the NFL and obviously my next set of plus minuses and so forth. But I will get to that at some point later in the week where I was right, where I was wrong with my last one, and then I'm going to give you a new one next week. But I just want to dedicate this episode to the Los Angeles Lakers. Anyways, so today, the LA Lakers had their media day today. And again, every team gets really, really excited when their media day comes because, players come in, they talk about what they did over the summer, they talk about how they're, adding to their game and so forth. You get kind of the same vibes from every team. It's like a player says, "Oh, I worked on this," or "Oh, I have high hopes for us in here and here and there and there." Now, I did see snippets of other press conferences. A lot of them are pretty depressing. Like, I think Philadelphia's was pretty depressing. I didn't really get to see Denver's, but I heard a little bit about Denver's. It didn't look as exciting. Again, Denver's a team that really didn't add much in the offseason. Again, Utah, I really didn't hear Utah's press conference. I don't know if they had one, but I know the Chicago Bulls did, and I did see some snippets from the Chicago Bulls. In my opinion, I think Chicago Bulls can easily be a 5th or 6th seed if everything goes well. Again, we all know that there's a team that we all have high hopes for every season and then just kind of crumples in the wrong time, and then they just end up trading everything and everyone away. So, again, I did see some snippets from the other media days, which all happened yesterday, and the Lakers is probably the only one that happened today. But, the Lakers to me was the most exciting one. Again, I'm a huge Lakers fan / LeBron fan, so to me, I kind of like this one a little bit more. But I'm going to talk more about the actual media day. Then I'm going to get to their actual season and my hopes for them this season. Okay, so unfortunately, I did not catch LeBron's press conference. Now, I think that was the very first one up, first or second one up. I missed LeBron and Anthony Davis, and those are the two that I wanted to see the most. I will watch video clips on them later, but from what I heard with LeBron's press conference is that, he said that it's going to take time for him and Russell Westbrook to gel, and, he talked a little bit about their weekend in Las Vegas when they all kind of connected before, they all joined up at camp. But I did notice a couple of things, and especially from the newbies and also returning players like Dwight and Rondo. But I want to start off with Coach Frank Vogel. Now,
What's up, everybody? How we doing? I missed you all.
Yeah. Good morning, Coach. How good to see you again.
Great to be seen.
Yeah, you got that right. That's for sure. But judging by the way you came in, you're extremely excited about the year that's coming up. What's going to be different about this year as opposed to teams in the past where you have a large variety of ages?
Well, we all have to come together. We understand the talent that we have on the roster and, what we have the ability to do. But you have to put in the work, and you got to make the necessary sacrifices, and you got to figure things out, as they come up throughout the season.
Frank Vogel came in with high hopes. He was very much alive, very happy. He greeted everyone and was kind of like, very smiley, talked about, their past season and their hopes. And he did say one thing that I was really, really excited about, was that he said, I looked down possible different lineups throughout the season, and he said every single one I can't find a major flaw, or at least a flaw. And so I mean, I understand there's going to be flaws in every lineup regardless, but he said I didn't find any flaws, and he said, and that's a good thing. And I think with this team currently constructed, with you have ball handlers like Rondo, Russell Westbrook, LeBron, Malik Monk can also play ball handler. I think that's a good team. And I think Frank Vogel is right on. Like, you'll have a playmaker regardless. You'll have either Rondo, Malik Monk, Russell Westbrook, or LeBron on the court at all times, in my opinion. And I think that's good. And I think their ball handlers all understand their roles, and that's great. Also, Frank Vogel talked about, last season, and he talked about, what he hopes for this season. And again, I mean, the expectation is to win a championship. Anytime LeBron James is on your team, the expectation is to win, and win now. I do think this team is going to maybe struggle early on, or they may be like the Lakers 2 years ago, where they went on a really hot start and just everyone else was playing catch up. I do believe that Russell Westbrook and LeBron will take time to gel. I do believe that in the first 10 games, we'll see sparks of what they can possibly be with him, with LeBron, Russell, and Davis on the court. I do think we'll see sparks, but I do think they will struggle early on, because Russell Westbrook is so ball dominant and LeBron is so ball dominant that finding that common ground between them two is going to take a couple games. I mean, who knows? It may even start right away, but I do believe it will take 10 games for them to kind of understand, like, okay, it's going to be a long season. I can take this, you can take that, and so forth. So I was really excited with Frank Vogel's press conference. Again, he came in really, really happy and excited for the season. Okay, so up next, I want to talk about Malik Monk and Rondo's press conference. Now, what was interesting about that was Malik Monk said something that stood out to me. He said that I don't care if I start, come off the bench, I'm ready to play. And he basically said, I understand my role is going to change every single game, and I'm going to do whatever the team asks me, because he's going to play for the team. So it's already showing me that Malik Monk, and again, Malik Monk signed for a league minimum, and he's, 25, 24. So he's a young guy signing for a minimum. It shows that he understands what's at stake and what his expectations are for the season, which, again, I can show you the clip right here.
Malik, how's it going? Has there been anything communicated? Has there been anything communicated from the coaching staff about the competition for starting lineup positions?
Oh, no, we haven't. We haven't talked about anything about that yet. I think we just all gonna compete, man. I'm here. I don't care if I start or come off the bench. I'm just here to be the best Malik I could be for the Lakers.
I loved everything he said. I thought it was amazing. I got goosebumps in my arms, because what he said just made me happy, because he understands what's at stake and he's going to be ready at all times. Now, Rondo did shed a tear, a fake tear.
D specifically talked about how much you were missed last year. I'm wondering, did they play a role in...
They said that? Give me a second.
I missed you too, Rajon.
Oh, shit.
In other words, I thought it was hilarious that he shed a tear. He's like, oh, they missed me, And again, Rondo knows that he's not going to play. Like, he's not going to play as much as Russell Westbrook or Malik Monk is going to play. But he's going to be that Jared Dudley that they had last year. And again, Rondo can still play. Like, regardless of what anyone says, Rondo can still play. He can still dish it out. And I think that they're going to utilize or use Rondo more in the playoffs, like they did 2 years ago, and how successful he was in the playoffs 2 years ago. I do believe they will use him maybe 10, 15 minutes a game, and he understands that as well. I mean, Rondo knows he's old and not as athletic as he used to be, so I think Rondo's going to gel well. He's going to play a couple games. He's not going to play every game, but he's going to play a couple of games. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him early on in the season play a lot of minutes, and then, throughout the season, as the season kind of progresses, he's going to play less and less and less. There will be games where LeBron or Russell Westbrook sits out, where Rondo's going to get a lot of minutes, but nonetheless, I think Rondo's going to play a lot in spurts, and there's going to be games where he's not going to play, and it's kind of like figuring out that common ground where he belongs. Anyways, up next, I'm going to get into Wayne Ellington's and Carmelo Anthony's press conference. Okay, so a couple of takeaways from Carmelo Anthony's press conference was, I'm really excited about Carmelo Anthony. Like, a couple years ago, I was like, man, why can't this guy just, figure out his role? And I understand Carmelo Anthony spent a better half of his career as the primary ball handler, as a primary scorer. And it's kind of hard to get rid of that, especially when you still think you can still play. Obviously, Carmelo's role changed. It was kind of like Dwight for a while. Like Dwight was kind of finding a house, trying to figure out his role. And then once he found his role, he was successful in it. As you can see, he helped Philadelphia to a number 1 seed. But Carmelo Anthony took a while. It took him to get out of the league. It took him a couple tries in Oklahoma and even Houston to kind of get it. And I really liked what Carmelo said, is that he's just going to, he's going to play, he's going to ball. He understands his role now. And again, last year in Portland, he had a lot of success in Portland last year. And a lot of that was understanding his role. And Carmelo knows he's going to come off the bench, probably behind Trevor Ariza. So I think that this is going to be well, and it's going to gel well for Carmelo. He's going to come off the bench, be able to get some buckets, grab a quick 6 points while coming off the bench, and then, just kind of going from there. I do believe he's going to average around 12 points per game, maybe 6 points in the first half, 6 points in the second half, and so forth. So Carmelo Anthony did, reassure at least me that he's going to play his role, and he's going to play great ball, and he's just going to score when he needs to and so forth. And we all know Carmelo can just shoot and score whenever he wants. I mean, we saw it in Portland. We saw spurts of it. Obviously, that's not his main role anymore, but we know he can still score. Wayne Ellington. Now, Wayne Ellington was a Laker before when they were really, really bad. And Wayne Ellington also said that with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook on the court, he knows that they're going to demand a lot of attention from the defense. And he's going to get a lot of open shots. And he said he's been practicing his just standstill shots where like someone throws him the ball, he just shoots it. Because he says he knows he's going to get a lot of opportunities in that part. So Wayne Ellington, and he can play defense. He's pretty good. His days in Miami and when he was with the Lakers the first time around, he did pretty well. Obviously, he's one that you go, oh, he'll get 15 points, but, he's going to lose. He's on the losing team. But he's been pretty well. I think he's raised his three-point percentage. I think he shot about 40% last year, which is good. And again, that's with him running around, trying to get open and so forth. And now he's going to have open shots. I think that's going to be really, really great for the Lakers. And I just think that these veterans understand their role, understand that it's winning or nothing for them. And I really, really like that, especially from those press conferences that I just mentioned and so forth. Okay, so the LA Lakers. I don't think they're going to be a number 1 seed. I do believe, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a number 1 seed like they were 2 years ago. But I think that they're going to maybe struggle a little bit because, again, Russell Westbrook is such a huge player and LeBron is such a huge player. It's going to take them a while to gel. There may be games where it's like, I'm going to throw you the ball because I think you need to have it. And it's going to be like, no, I want you to have it. And it may cause a little bit of issues until they kind of figure it out. Again, LeBron and Dwayne Wade took a while to figure out. It took about, 20 games to figure out each other before they actually started balling. So I think that may happen with the Lakers. Who knows? It may gel like it did 2 years ago, just that easy. But it's probably going to take a while. So I do believe that we'll kind of slow them down a little bit and maybe have them be at a 3 or 4 seed, possibly even 2 seed, because right now I don't have a confirmed number 1 seed, in my opinion. So it's up for grabs, in my opinion, the number 1 seed. So I do believe the Lakers will win about 50 games. They will win about 50 to 54 games just because once they figure it out, they're going to go on long winning streaks and it's going to be amazing to watch. And also, right now, the league, the way the Western Conference is set up is it's set up for the Lakers to win now and immediately. So I do believe they may get that 50-win season. I mean, they're for sure going to get a 50-win season, but they'll probably be in the 50-54 range, in my opinion. Also, their new additions, it's going to take a while for them to gel. I said this before, Frank Vogel's probably going to be playing with the lineups a lot. And that is going to be hard to watch. There's going to be a lot of people on Twitter calling for his job. And I'm just right now saying, slow it down. It's going to take a while. Just like it did last year with, kind of a little slower start. I mean, they still went off to like a 21-6 record. But it's gonna take a while, especially with this team that they've got a lot of young guys that, know their roles. But it's going to take a while because, the ball gets heavier when LeBron passes you the ball. When LeBron or Russell Westbrook passes you the ball, playing for the Lakers. The ball's going to be heavy for some of these players early on. And so I do believe the Lakers can potentially get off on a good start, but I wouldn't be surprised if they slowly start. And then once they gel, they're going to gel and win a lot of games. So that's my opinion on them. Again, for me, it goes either way. And I know I really didn't give anybody a clear answer. I'll give you more of a clear answer once you see a couple of preseason games and see how they all kind of play and gel together. I'll let you know later on, but I just wanted to hop on here to talk about the Lakers, specifically their media day, and how excited I actually am for the season to start, because they actually play Brooklyn on Sunday night or Sunday at some point to begin their preseason campaign. And again, the season's less than a month away. I'm really excited. And you guys know that I'm going to cheer on the Lakers until they're officially eliminated out of the playoffs or until they win the NBA Finals. So anyways, glad you enjoyed. I will try to come up with another episode specifically talking about my football and more NBA talk and so forth. I will try to get that in at some point this week. Please be patient, but I just wanted to get this episode in because, again, Lakers Media Day was today, and I was excited about it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Keep up with the show by clicking the subscribe button to get the latest from the show. Also, turn on the notifications to know when a new episode is posted. Thank you.